Ms. Nomusa Dube. I also would like to reach out to Lauren Hill. You have the power bank, I believe, from the registration team. They have asked if you could please return it as they are to leave shortly. Please, Lauren. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to a conversation with a top woman whose impact I'm positive that you have felt already directly or indirectly in Durban, as well as the rest of the KZN province. It is my astute pleasure to welcome for this fireside chat. Please help me welcome onto the Standard Bank Top Women Empower Her stage, Saskia Hill, who is the co-founder and the head of partnerships at Connect BPS Global. Breathe in, Saskia, and out. A very warm welcome to the stage, and thank you so much for having this conversation with us, and we very much look forward to be gleaning the insights and take a huge proportion of your generosity when it comes to networking, when it comes to the trajectory that you've seen with the exponential growth of your business. But before we lean into that, you did not wake up as an entrepreneur, you did not start as an entrepreneur. Your journey into entrepreneurship actually goes back to corporate. Take me through that journey before we deep dive into the business of it.
Thank you, Vuyo, and thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. It's a pleasure to be here. So I think when you talk about serial entrepreneur, it takes me back to my youth. I think I was about 10 years old. My grandparents owned a shop, and I negotiated with them to buy sweets from them at cost and take them to school and sell them for a small markup. So my entrepreneurial journey started at a very young age. Through the years, we've had a bread and milk home delivery service. I remember there was a craze of having wedding bubbles at weddings instead of confetti. And I found a supplier overseas and sold it locally. It was an absolute failure. But those are just some of the parts. I think the big step of my entrepreneurial journey was starting an accounting practice, which I had for 10 years. And the opportunity for the call center arose out of one of our clients in the accounting practice selling his contact center. And that's where the journey started for contact center. But I think I took a massive leap of faith. It was completely out of my comfort zone. But I think that the magic always happens at the end of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So although the entrepreneurial journey sounds like plain sailing and all happiness and fairies, you can be assured although there's been much of laughter, there's also been many tears and anxiety, which I'm sure we'll cover through the discussion. And then just a note of encouragement to fail while you go through your entrepreneurial journey and fail forward. Mm-hmm. A discussion with a fellow entrepreneur, and I know we've done this with our kids around a table at night. What were your highs and lows of today? Let's discuss it. And she actually says she asks her kids every day, how did you fail today? Mm. And what did you learn from it? So that's my entrepreneurial journey.
Amazing. And I think also with failing, you fail fast as an entrepreneur. I think that's something that you truly learn, because there's so much that you can definitely take advantage of. And even with entrepreneurship, as you've mentioned, that it's not just the highs, but it's also the lows. And I think for some people, they prefer to be entrepreneurs and corporate innovators, as opposed to entrepreneurship. I don't think there's anyone in this room who actually ran towards entrepreneurship and said, I definitely want uncertainty in my life. But so what is it about the allure of entrepreneurship, and perhaps what still magnetizes you to be an entrepreneur with so much that has happened, particularly in the past 2 to 3 years globally, but also within the region that you operate in Durban?
I think I know it's may sound strange, but I think to be an entrepreneur in South Africa is actually a blessing and a gift. I think the reason I say that is because we are inherently resilient. So from a young age, you're taught how to solve problems. And that's an incredible gift to take in as you start your entrepreneurial journey. I think two factors about being steadfast in being an entrepreneur and what's kept me through these challenging times. I think the one is the accountability and responsibility I felt towards my staff. Having 200 staff members, it's not just the 200 staff. In reality, in this country, every person is looking after an average of 8 to 10 people. That means I felt responsible for about 2,000 people. So we could have easily have closed our doors, with the demise that we went through in our business. Sorry. I'm not sure about how much you know about the background, but with our business completely burning down during the riots. So it would have been easy to close the doors. But to know I had that accountability and responsibility towards our staff really, really kept me going. And I think it also, it sounds easy, but there were many, for all the entrepreneurs in the room, we had many sleepless nights, anxiety, and the need to be agile during these challenging times. And then the second factor that's kept me steadfast is really the gratitude towards the people around me, the clients, the staff, family, friends. I've got staff members and family in the room today. And I think a lot of what Maria was saying in her talk and about being growing up with this amazing woman, it's exactly the same for me with my mom and my sister, having them. I've learned so many lessons from them. I think my mom could do a TED talk on her own about her hardships and what she's been through. So I've been very fortunate to have these amazing women in my life to look up to. And then to my staff that are here, without them, there's no ways we could have arisen from the ashes, excuse the pun, but yeah, so I think the people around me have kept me steadfast during this journey.
Absolutely, and teamwork certainly makes the dream work. And hello to the staff of PPS Global.
At the back.
May I see you? Thank you so much for being here and supporting your founder. Now, we're also in a city, as you alluded to earlier, that has triumphed its many turmoils. And I think in addition to that, there's load shedding, there's riots, there's COVID-19 and a global pandemic that has hit quite a lot of entrepreneurs, and from large to small to medium businesses as well. And some of them have unfortunately shut down, but you also have had some that have resuscitated their businesses. And then you've had Connect BPS Global that, as you mentioned, the good, the bad, and the ugly that you've experienced, but you've also seen growth and exponential growth at that. And I think there's been a couple of themes throughout the past 2 to 3 years that of pivoting. I think, every entrepreneur, or most entrepreneurs here, have found themselves pivoting and really also adhering to processes, but also keeping people in mind. So those 3P, if you will, that really have also contributed to the performance of your business. How much have those 3 themes, or the 3Ps rather, really contributed to you unlocking this growth in your business?
If I start off with pivot, I think what we noticed during the pandemic, and we noticed that there was a demand or a need for staff in the offshoring market. So taking America, for example, the government gave their staff amazing grants. So that meant that a lot of people actually didn't want to go back to work. So our clients were, we need people, and before COVID, it was it was much harder to market our business, because for them, for us to have staff sitting in South Africa, we don't know, we can't see them, we can't feel them. So the pandemic actually helped us, because all of a sudden remote working, it was acceptable and it was fine. So we almost then became a branch office to the American base. And then because they were battling to find staff so much, we managed to pivot very quickly and market our business much quicker and bring in more people. And then I think the other thing, which is another word Cindy mentioned in her speech, is collaboration. So we've recently formed a collaboration with one of our competitors, And I think it's not always a bad thing. If you find the right partner, and especially with the right values, it does enable you to just take your business to another level.
And creating the shared value.
Yes. Processes, so for us, it really highlighted after our business burnt down. I mean, the morning that we found out, because obviously we couldn't even get to the building, so we were relying on secondhand information all the time, but when we realized there was just nothing left and started seeing the photos coming through, our management team, we got on a call, and because we had everything so well documented, all our policies and procedures, we knew exactly where to start. Each person knew who was responsible to do what. So the processes are in your company are incredibly important, and it shouldn't just be a tick list item that gets filed, or because one of your clients wants your standard operating procedures ticket and it's done. It's a very important document, and don't think it's not going to happen to you. It's something that also should be updated regularly. People leave and systems change, and if you are able to have a compliance officer in your business, I mean that's first prize, because the legislation is coming at us at such a fast rate. Your last point of the P's is people. One of my favorite quotes, and we have it in our office as well, is everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about, so be kind always. As a company, it's easy to say this word, people first, and have it as your values, and have it on social media. But unless you put your money where your mouth is, it actually means nothing. And your staff will see through you very quickly. I think after our disaster, we all cried together, we worked together, and we managed to get everything back up and running. I think we've got so many examples of how we helped our staff, not only during the disaster, but during the pandemic. Small things like offering our staff counseling for them and their families. A lot of the women at our work, they come to work to feel good about themselves. They've got a lot of issues in their homes. Now during the pandemic, they're working at home. So we were checking in daily, on these staff to make sure that they actually are okay, and offering the counseling sessions. So I think when we chat about networking, I think we'll see how relevant the people aspect is.
Absolutely. And let's chat about the networking, because I think, Cindy alluded to so incredibly well around creating those deep and meaningful connections. It's not only about exchanging the numbers, but it's also about nurturing networking and nurturing those connections. You also mentioned that during the riots, you had a competitor who actually gave you office space. And I think, whenever we talk about competition in small businesses, it's either you compete or you collaborate. But also within that, there's, I know I'm doing things in three, but the compassion in competition. And I think that also showcases the kind of environment that you create, but also the entrepreneurs that you get to work with. How can, I think even for the finalists who are pitching, or the founders who are here, who, perhaps are sitting next to someone who does the same business, where can they find that magic or that trigger to really ignite the opportunity to find compassion in networking?
So again, I know Cindy mentioned this too, and I believe so strongly in it. Your network is your net worth. And a very good friend of mine was telling me as well that networking is treated like a bank account. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. So in the good times, take the time and effort and deposit a lot into that bank account. Because boy, the day you need it, you need to make a massive withdrawal. And the people are there for you if you put that effort into it. Again, like Cindy said, it's network. It does require a lot of time and effort. Sorry. I think some of the examples, what I've done to nurture my network, I've joined organizations where I can learn and grow myself. I think an amazing organization, it's a global organization called the Entrepreneurs Organization, which is EO, and I get tremendous value of learning and growing. I also like to surround myself with people who I think are smarter than me, again, so that I can learn and grow from them. I have a mentor. He has amazing insights. I'm also always happy to share my industry knowledge. So I don't hold on to everything, and if I find something, I phone my competitors who are also my friends, and I share what I've learned, and likewise they do the same. I make time for my friends, colleagues, and also time for supporting the initiatives. I'm passionate about networking, so I love it when somebody puts on a group, I need to meet this person or find this person. I love connecting people together, and I think that resonated me again with Cindy's pay it forward comment. And then I always tell everyone I'm a phone call away, so even my staff, they know, and they do use it. Networking is, and I think there was a quote as well that we had. Sometimes you have to experience the bad so that you can learn to appreciate good things that enter your life. And I think for me, the incredible network was the good thing which resulted from our building being burnt down. We had so many incredible stories of people helping us through the network. It was just overwhelming. You know, our industry body collected funds from all our competitors and gave all our staff food vouchers. I mean, amazing. Things that wasn't in our disaster recovery plan. For example, when you do your disaster recovery plan, you think it's only your building that's going to burn down, not 100 or hundreds. So there is a shortage of computers and headsets, things like that. So, and then the trucks weren't coming down for deliveries. Our industry competitors were amazing. They came there. What do you need? We'll have it. They delivered headsets. Don't worry, just take them. Whatever you need, takes. Office space. The Thursday, I think the transport was up and running. Our staff were in the offices. Amazing. They provided a desk, a chair, computer. Just incredible. A friend in Australia sent money. Please take your staff to lunch. Friends on the EO network. I've got a house in Cape Town if you need to get away and process and strategize. Somebody who didn't even meet. My wife is a psychologist. She does trauma counseling. Oh, wow. Amazing. The list is endless. People are... your network is incredibly powerful when you need it.
Absolutely. And I think what is crucial to that as well, as you were saying, is that I love this analogy of depositing into a Standard Bank account, of course. Of depositing into this bank of your network, right? Is that the return on investment at the end of the day? Because you cannot continue to withdraw. Otherwise, you'll be left with nothing to give, right? And I think this is where then the opportunity to connect, and even just saying, I'll introduce you to someone, as opposed to, again, Cindy, I think you'll be referenced so many times in this, but particularly around networking, and that is that you give as well, and you will not be deducted from anything. You lose absolutely nothing from doing that, and I think that is also exuded in your case to your employees, to your staff. And when you think about the impact of Connect BPS Global, what does impact mean to you?
I've got two points to discuss about impact for our business, and the first one is impact sourcing. So we're fortunate in the BPO sector that impact sourcing is very well supported, even at government level, because it's such a high employer at the moment, creating employment opportunities. And so with that, it allows us to focus on impact sourcing, where we can provide full training and development of staff from matric level. Our key focus, and one of my passions, is to focus on employment of women and the youth. The other impact that, as Connect BPS, we would like to make is to fly the South African flag very proudly with our overseas clients, by ensuring we offer quality, affordable, and diverse services.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Saskia. And as I invite your closing remarks, we have entrepreneurs, as we mentioned, but also to the entrepreneurs who perhaps have an idea, or have registered, or have those 2 to 3 clients, but who also are wanting to take the opportunity to exponentially grow their business and scale their business as much as you have. What would be your words of empowerment to them as they navigate today, but also as they navigate throughout all of these different tables, and I believe there's over 100 women and men who are part of the room today. But what would be your words of encouragement or empowerment as they take the next step?
So just know that the road isn't easy when you're an entrepreneur, and there will be times of anxiety and uncertainty and fear. However, and with respect to the men in the room, I really believe, again, concurring with what Maria said, is that women are built like superwomen, and we are survivors. The journey isn't always easy, but just persevere through the bad times. Utilize your network, because everyone's going to have a good, bad, and ugly phase of your business at some point. Mm-hmm. And then always be true to yourself and be authentic, because people will see through if you're faking it. I think most importantly, make memories and have lots and lots of fun. It's amazing. When I first wanted to be an entrepreneur, I was going to go resign from my corporate job, and I had this vision of, when it rains, I'm going to drink hot chocolate and have marshmallows, and I'm going to watch movies. I've yet to do that, but this year, I've decided I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to bunk, and I'm going to go watch a movie and have hot chocolate. So I think in closing, I'd just like to remind you of Nelson Mandela's quote, it always seems impossible until it's done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Saskia Hill, the
Thank
co-founder and head of partnerships at Connect BBS Global. Thank you so much, Saskia. And even as Saskia was mentioning that, as an entrepreneur, you think